Greetings, everyone. So tonight I'm going to read this article from Tampa Bay Times. Sorry, Tampa Bay Times, I don't live in Tampa, so I'm not subscribing. Apologies. But hopefully some of the people listening to this will subscribe. So, the title of the article is, and I like it, Scientology policy, stress Scientology policy, enabled years of child sexual abuse. The third lawsuit filed against Scientology and leader David Miscavige in 3 months accuses the church of sexual battery, racketeering, and conspiracy. Now, isn't that interesting? The child rights advocates out in front of La Poubelle, that's what the cops have been trying to set them up with conspiracy. So why I like that title is they're talking about the policies that are enabling this. A team of 12 victims, rights attorneys, on Wednesday filed the third lawsuit in 3 months against the Church of Scientology and its leader David Miscavige. The complaint states a woman was repeatedly sexually abused as a child in Scientology's care, and that church policy enabled the abuse. I like that they're going for the policies and policy. And also, anyone in the upper echelons of OSA or those various departments that enabled child abuse, whether sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, neglect, anyone who was complicit in that kind of abuse needs to put the little orange jumper suit on. Period. So the article is by Tracy McManus of the Times staff, published September 19th, 2019. To my knowledge, this one's still in the process. In the third lawsuit filed against the Church of Scientology and its leader David Miscavige, in 3 months, a 25-year-old woman alleges she was repeatedly sexually assaulted as a child in Scientology's care, including at the church's Clearwater Academy. I'm going to say that again. Including at the church's Clearwater Academy. By the way, they're still recruiting children as we speak. On top of the abuse, the lawsuit explains how church officials allegedly knew it was occurring and did nothing to stop it or alert law enforcement actions rooted in policy written by Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard. When the woman spoke of her alleged abuse after leaving Scientology in 2018, the church deployed a campaign of harassment against her. That's the fair gaming, otherwise known as threats and intimidation, harassment against her. A tactic also based on Hubbard's fair game policy aimed to destroy those labeled as enemies. Sorry for all those sirens. I don't know what's going on. According to the complaint filed in Miami-Dade Circuit Court on Wednesday, Scientology operatives cut the brake lines on the woman's car. Typical. Isn't that attempted homicide? Scientology. Wakey, 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 fair gamers. You're going to prison. Vandalized her property, followed and surveilled her, and harassed her with hundreds of spam calls. Mind you guys, this is a woman that went through child sexual abuse. The woman is referred to in the complaint only as Jane Doe for fear of more retaliation by the church. The lawsuit names Miscavige, Scientology's flag service organization, its religious technology center. Trying to remember who has said they worked in that religious technology center. I'm going to keep note of that. Church of Scientology International, which I know Mike Rinder has said he's worked there when he was in, and Clearwater Academy. That's where that oh so lovely Fort Harrison Hotel. That's the one that Serge Del Mar talks about. As defendants against allegations from sexual battery to racketeering and negligence. With no criminal charges brought upon Scientology, despite years of allegations of criminal activity, a team of a dozen victims' rights attorneys are using civil court to expose the church's alleged institutional abuses. The team, which filed its first complaint in June, includes a constitutional scholar and a lawyer who successfully prosecuted Bill Cosby on sexual assault charges. Oh yeah, another drugging and raping women. Scientology may be a religious organization, and they can believe whatever they want to believe, but they can't do whatever they want to do. The team's lead attorney, Brian Kent, told the Tampa Bay Times on Thursday. There's a real man. They will be subject to the law just as any other organization would be subject to the law. Yeah, like when they, when all these Scientologists, fair gamers, are out slashing people's tires, paid actors, assault and battery. Late Thursday, a Los Angeles attorney for the church cult issued a statement dismissing the claims as a false file complaint. That's always what they do. I don't know what the heck's going on over here. While directly attacking the woman, this complaint is just the latest example of an anti-religious falsehoods. Yeah, they always love to use that. Wielded to destroy lives. Stated William H. Foreman, litigation counsel. Yeah, there we go. For the cult of Scientology International. Oh, isn't that where they have the slush fund? I think that's where they keep the slush fund to make the child sexual abuse allegations go away. Yeah. The church will expose this complaint for the disgusting sham and bigotry that it is. Oh, so I guess it's not disgusting to sexually abuse a little girl and then tell her she pulled it in and cover up the abuse, huh? Bunch of vile demons over there. The statement accused the Jane Doe without any evidence, this is all baloney, of being a convicted liar. You guys know what they say about Tampa Bay Times. Let's see here. Gonna skip all that la-di-da that we're so great. Sex abuse cult. The first time Doe was sexually abused in Scientology's care, the lawsuit states, was during her 2 kindergarten years at Clearwater Academy on Drew Street in downtown Clearwater. Clearwater Police, do you hear that? Hello, Clearwater Police. Or did you help cover it up? The lawsuit states that on multiple occasions, an employee forced an employee, I thought they were church members, but what do I know? Forced Jane Doe and other girls to perform sexual acts on each other. I'm not going to read this because this could make... It just goes into detail about the essay of little girls. You guys can read it. Doe reported this to adults at the school. I want to repeat that. Let's keep a mental note of this. Who was working at the school I just said? Who was working at that school at that time? Keep a ledger, you guys. Doe reported this to adults at the school, but no action was taken to remove the employee. Why don't we call him church member? Back and forth we go. Nobody can decide whether it's an employee or a church member. Or stop the abuse, according to the lawsuit. I guess they're only a church when it comes to paying taxes. The only answer to crimes committed by cult members, including sexual assault, is Hubbard's policy and technology, not law enforcement or the courts, the lawsuit states. Not like law enforcement was doing anything anyways. Hubbard's policies, rolled out following the formation of the church cult of Scientology in 1953, teach it as a high crime to report a Scientologist to law enforcement. But not, when they essay little girls, Phones within certain church facilities are incapable of dialing 911, according to the lawsuit. Oh, yes, also, remember that one of the books that Hubbard wrote, he talked about how if a grown man wants to kiss and press his lips against a 7-year-old girl and she squirms away because she doesn't like it, that means that in a past life she had some kind of bad experience. Not that you're not a complete sick F to want to go with a little 7-year-old girl. Okay. Sorry guys, I veered off. At age 11, Doe was sent by Scientology to live in Caracas, Venezuela, without her parents. Wonder where her passport was. The next year she was assaulted. 11-year-old girl here. Oh, this gets me mad. The next year she was assaulted by the son of a high-ranking Scientologist at the Caracas organization, a cult facility according to the complaint. Just so you guys know, I'm going to replace church with cult as much as I can. Doe immediately disclosed the assault to her mother, a person who conducts spiritual counseling sessions auditing. Instead of reporting the assault to law enforcement, because that's what you should do, not that they help, the lawsuit alleges cult officials sentenced, imagine this, after she got assaulted, she was sentenced to 3 months of physical labor. That's at RPF, the child one, the child RPF. Remember that one? Physical labor, and issued her a non-interpolation order, which warned she was at risk of losing standing in the cult for bringing in the sexual assault. Just want to go on a little bit here. So after After she was sent to Caracas at 11 years old, away from her parents, mistake number one, just open field for predators. She gets SA'd, RAPED, you know that thing? She tells her mother, oh wait, no. Sorry guys, I screwed this up. She disclosed the assault to her auditor, probably another child, by the way. And then gets punished, told that she pulled it in, gets sentenced to physical labor in the RPF, probably in the RPF, and issued her a non-interbulation order. Interbulation means like when people have emotions and they're upset or angry. That's what that means. So she got SA'd several times, tells her auditor, which that's a whole nother story. Serge Delmar talks about that. Then is punished, told she pulled it in, gets punished with manual labor, issued a non-interbulation order, and it was at risk of losing standing in the cult. One who suffers sexual abuse, whether an adult or a child, is assumed to have done something to invite such abuse, as the lawsuit describes Scientology practices. Hold on, guys. They really glossed over that labor sentence, Tampa Bay Times. After her labor sentence in the RPF, she was sent back to Clearwater at age 14. No mention of the parents here. Isn't that weird? Because, after you get SA'd and go through manual labor because you pulled it in, then you get told you're going to go to the Sea Org, which of course is away from your parents. She was sent back to Clearwater at age 14 because they wanted to. Also, two authorities couldn't get to people there, maybe. To join the Sea Org, the church's clergy-like workforce, where members sign billing year contracts and work an average of 100 hours a week for little or no wages. I also put a lot on the parents. This is just ridiculous. Sea Org children are separated, there we go, separated from their parents and assigned a guardian. And that also there's some legal thing going on there. Doe's guardian, then a 24-year-old woman, groomed Jane Doe, groomed Jane Doe to enter into a sexual relationship with her. Oh my God. Predators. As a child, Doe could not understand the consequences of her actions and could not consent to a sexual relationship, the lawsuit states. The complaint states church officials should have known the guardian was abusing and prevented the abuse from occurring, but they did not. Yeah, they never do they? Religious Technology Center, Office of Special Affairs, Scientology International. Once she escaped Scientology in 2018, Jane Doe was stalked, harassed, and followed by cult officials. Tactics that went beyond all bounds of decency, and the conduct was shocking, atrocious, and utterly intolerable in a civilized community. They act just like the mafia. They want those child SA victims to shut their mouths. The lawsuit stresses the alleged culpability of Miscavige, More people need to be named here. Scientology's leader who took over the organization following Hubbard's death in 1986. It describes the Sea Org structure as a human trafficking scheme that benefits Miscavige financially and a lot of other people. What I understand is the whales, they also get tax exemption. Church officials have made billions off the backs of men, women, and children who are trafficked and forced to work 100-hour weeks for far below the minimum wage with little to no free time or vacation, under the threat of severe punishment for failure to perform their work duties, the lawsuit states. The complaint alleges child Sea Org members like Doe have their food rationed and are subjected to hard labor like asbestos removal and construction. Children are deprived of proper education, and any child or adult who flees or speaks negatively about the cult is subject to shunning by parents, relatives, and friends through Scientology's disconnection policy. Wasn't Hubbard a great guy? What a great guy he was. Personal freedoms are restricted. Families are separated. And severe punishments are utilized to maintain complete control over the forced workers, including children in the Sea Org, the lawsuit states. That's what the second gens have been talking about. And third gens. Along with Miscavige's, because they always got to bring him up. Which make me really wonder at this point. And the cult's liability for Doe's abuse. The lawsuit states Clearwater Academy failed in its legal duty to protect students. Did you hear that, Clearwater Police? The legal team's first lawsuit filed in June on behalf of another Jane Doe, and we all know there's way more that are going to come forward. And I would really hope any boys or men that were abused come forward as well. The other Jane Doe accuses the cult of child abuse related to auditing. Serge Delmar talks about that, where the children that are auditing are locked in those rooms, nobody can leave. What do you think's going to happen? Child abuse related to auditing, where children are interrogated for hours about sexual questions. They also are auditors. Human trafficking the woman was part of in the Sea Org, and fair game tactics she endured after escaping, including the cult publishing a hate website falsely stating she was an alcoholic dismissed from the sect for promiscuity. I really wish, can you imagine? I really wish that like the laws and lawsuits and lawyers and whomever necessary could get these hate websites taken down as well. The second lawsuit was filed in August against Scientology, Miscavige, and actor Danny Masterson on behalf of 4 women who allege they were raped by Masterson, a parishioner. Oh, now he's a parishioner. Still in good standing as far as I know. After they reported the rapes to Los Angeles police, okay, I want to repeat this one. After they reported the rapes to Los Angeles police in 2016 and 2017, the lawsuit states Scientology unleashed a campaign of terror to intimidate the accusers. Is it any wonder why this is like a serious rape culture? Ken said he expects his team to file numerous complaints this year against Scientology related relating to alleged victims of child abuse, human trafficking, and harassment. Obviously, this is a very secretive organization, problem number one there, that has policies, problem number two, that you are not to speak publicly, problem number three, about any of the abuses that are occurring. Kind of like the Catholic Church. Kent told the Times, we want transparency, and we want to expose the abuses that are happening. Yeah. So, as we read these articles, as we see people standing in front of that rape restaurant in Los Angeles, right now, children are being abused, and nobody's doing an MF thing about it. Children going to these stupid schools that don't teach them anything except mind control indoctrination into Hubbard's foolishness, where they are subject to all kinds of abuse. And meanwhile, oh, the LAPD, oh, I make good money. This is good extra money. You know, as they're working overtime and they are protecting child abusers. Protecting child abusers. So anyways, I will make sure to put the link in the description. We just have to keep at it, keep informing people. Apparently people have been doing this for 30-something years and very little has been done. And hats off to the people that went before us. Tori Christensen's got some really good videos over on her channel, Tori Magoo 44. Lara and her just had a nice little show. And anyways, there's quite a few really nice. Tori Christensen is a badass. Anyways, you guys, we'll stop there. I hope you have a nice night. Peace.